He said, I sought knowledge and I was able to gain some. But I tried to find adab and to learn it, and I found that its people had passed away. The basmala, alhamdulillah, rububiyya, al-jihad, tawbah, fada'il al-a'mal, as-salah, tarbiyya, as-saghair wal-kabair. So let's just talk about him for a little while. It's almost to say that. It's almost to just kind of refocus our minds onto the Father. That, we haven't forgotten you either. Right? And we know that, of course, it is the birr of the Father, His right and His importance and His right upon us, is well known, and it's something which is not easily forgotten. What we mentioned, if you remember when we were discussing the rights of the mother, we said that one of the reasons why it's emphasized is because she's easily placed aside, because she's weak, because we can get away with it, because she's hidden in the house, and so on and so on and so on. Do you remember? And that's why one of the benefits and one of the secrets behind why she's emphasized so much to us, because she's so easily neglected. Even if we intend to be good to her, easily neglected. The Father is not like that, we said. The Father's brash, up front, outside, he's not so weak, he's very strong, and if you don't treat him right, he will make you know that you haven't treated him right, okay? If you want an opportunity to have your bestie done, he will get your bestie done, right? And if you have to really, watch yourself with the Father, right? Yet still, we have a small chapter on the rights of the Father, and alhamdulillah, why not? Why not? Because if you think about his rights, he has some specific things that the mother cannot be known for. But there is one question. Why is it that the mother is now mentioned 4 times, okay, and previously it was 3 times? Especially when we said that there was a very good reason for it being 3 times, and we linked it in with the ayat of Qur'an and her separate roles in the bearing of the child, and then the pregnancy and the labor and the problems with that, and then the weaning and the breastfeeding and so on of the child, and then the 4th part where they both share is the tarbiyah. It fits perfectly. Suddenly 4 comes along, it ruins our whole idea, ruins the whole concept. So we're now stuck thinking, right, so what happened to our understanding for the 3rd, right? For the 3-to-1 ratio. And this is an interesting point. And really there's 2 points here. Number 1, maybe, and this is an area of ijtihad. There's no right or wrong or 100% definite here. This is for us to try and think about and reflect and consider. This is what the hadith is about, right? This is the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, not my or your statement. When we speak, as we said last time, empty statements, lot of kalam fadi, extra words that have no meaning. This is the statements of the Sahib al-Jawab al-Kalim, the one who has Jawab al-Kalim, the ability to say very few words but express much meaning, much benefit for those who want to give it time and reflect and think about it, right? So it's there. And so maybe just the fact that the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned it 4 times is just to give us that kind of almost little reminder. Don't feel so secure in you thinking that you've clocked the understanding, that you've based a kind of, you've formulated a rule, and this is the reason that it's for 3. Okay, well, here you go, it's 4 times. Now think about it again. Just to keep us thinking, and this is something well known in the sciences, things that to keep us bringing us. This is the style of the Qur'an often. The Qur'an sometimes is talking about one subject. Suddenly this ayah has nothing to do with that context, something totally different. And then we're back in again with the previous ayah, with the same topic in the previous ayah. And that's always to keep the person thinking and guessing and working and reflecting and considering and trying to find the secret and the benefit, okay? Likewise, this could be. And the other answer, realistically, is that we don't know. We don't know. And it's not an embarrassment or shame to say that. There are many things that we don't know. The scholars often would use these narrations, not really worrying too much about, okay, what is the extra benefit in the 4th. They would use it, as we mentioned in the previous session, to prove other points, to prove the authenticity of a narrator, or to show that a narration was narrated in a certain area. As I said, specific details that are particular to jarh wa ta'deel. Ala kulli hal, the point is that this hadith has been mentioned to refocus ourselves to our fathers, right? And why? We know that our fathers, realistically, if you think about it, when you compare him to the mother, they are the foundation of our lives. They are a solid foundation, what we build upon, right? They give us that strength and that ability to know that in times of difficulty and in times of stress, we can turn to him.
اللهم صل على محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا رب العالمين. In the previous session we started the hadith, or the athar, more accurately, number 7, the 7th narration, and the 3rd athar, or the 3rd narration from a companion, but the 7th actual narration in this chapter, on the authority of Ibn Abbas, who said that any Muslim who has Muslim parents and is dutiful to both of them, seeking Allah's pleasure, Allah will open 2 gates of Jannah for him. If there's only one parent, then 1 gate will be opened. And if he makes one of them angry, then Allah will not be pleased with him until that parent is pleased with him. So Ibn Abbas was asked, and even if they treat him unjustly, and he said, even if they treat him unjustly. And so, we started looking at some of the benefits of this narration. We discussed the fact that it is a weak narration, or rather the chain itself is weak, to be accurate, and we pointed out the significance of that and how that's different from saying that the whole narration is weak or so on. We looked at the rules that we use when dealing with a narration that has some weakness, and we discussed the acceptance of the majority of the scholars for the use of weaker hadith in such areas, targhib wa tarhib, the encouraging to and the discouraging from, discouraging to good actions and the discouraging from bad actions and so on, and discouraging from sin. In this area, the principles are relaxed somewhat. Okay, we're allowed to use certain narrations that have a little bit of weakness, as long as we don't establish anything new, as long as it's not very weak, it's not fabricated or anything like that, and as well as making sure that no one believes that, that it's a statement of the Prophet ﷺ. They should accept that it should be narrated with some kind of lack of edge or lack of definitiveness to make sure that that becomes clear. This is a major area of hadith science, or mustalah al-hadith. Ibn Hajar added another narration, added another point rather, where he said that also one should be careful and wary that a narration doesn't start to take acceptance amongst people. If it starts to become so common, then one should also refrain. So it's very similar to the 3rd, but it's like a separate condition in itself. And of course we've now covered many of the points to do with the birr, or the being dutiful and kind to the parents. And so that's now, we have a very good idea now of the specific rights of the mother and the specific rights of the father, which we covered in the previous hadith. Okay, and then now we're starting to get a bit more specific, right? We've done a lot of general stuff now. We now realize their status and why and so on. But now we're starting to open up certain times and conditions and so on. And so this narration is exactly that. In fact, its title, the chapter title on dutifulness to parents, even if their treatment is unjust. Okay, i.e. they do dhulm against you, they oppress you. Okay. And this is now almost the way that the book is going to go, this chapter now, talking about specific times and places to make things more specific for us. طيب. Now, we said last week, from the benefits of this, we looked at the interesting statement about the gates of paradise, and we mentioned that there's 8 gates of paradise, that these are just 2 of them, and how important it is for those people who might have parents in their old age to recognize their worth, that they are indeed a route to paradise. They are our way in. And especially if there's only one parent, then we see that Ibn Abbas makes it clear that if there's only one parent, then okay, you have 1 gate. And so therefore we said that should really be an encouragement for us to make sure that we do everything that we can not to lose that opportunity. And we have a chapter coming up soon, maybe in a few sessions time, where the Prophet ﷺ, where we know that it's actually a person, if he doesn't get into Jannah because of his parents, then he's a loser. Just because of his parents. If he doesn't get into paradise due to what he could have done and how he could have treated his parents, then he's a loser. And when that hadith, then we'll come back and this will make more sense almost. Now, I think today what we want to do is to look at the issue of dhulm. Alright? Now, dhulm, oppression, alright, is something very important for us because every child and every son and daughter thinks that their parents oppress them day and night. Okay? Always, it's our 100% complaint. Whatever they do, it's always got to be something against our rights or justice or whatever. It's just like unfortunately, it's almost like part of human nature. Or it's become almost part of human nature in our times. And the importance of this is that what this hadith is showing to us is that birrul walidain, okay, to be good to the parents is not contingent, okay, upon their behavior to us. This is really important. Alright, that's why the Sahaba asked Ibn Abbas, that's why his companion asked him, he said that, so, hold on, we continue this even if they treat us like this, even if they oppress us, they walk all over us, they throw our rights away and so on, even if they treat us unjustly, Ibn Abbas says, okay? And here is the point, and shows us that our birr is not linked to, if they show birr to us, then we'll show birr to them. You be good to us, we'll be good to you. Okay? No, this is something which continues whether they swear at you, whether they are fasiqeen, whether they are evil, whether they are doing dhulm against you, they are zalimeen. Well, this continues, for example, if it's, they do kufr even. Alright? Even if they are kuffar, it doesn't change your obligation to them. And that's why the hadith that will come up, number 24, the athar of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and he says, and we'll come to that in its right time, that 4 ayat were revealed about me. The first one was when my mother swore she would neither eat nor drink. We did this at the beginning of this chapter. When my mother swore she would never eat or drink until I left Muhammad. May Allah bless him and grant him peace. And Allah Almighty revealed, Sa'ad is saying, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَى أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Allah says, but if they strive with you to make you join in worship with me, others that of which you have no knowledge, then obey them not, but behave with them in the world kindly. Surah Luqman, verse 15. طيب? So this is, we're struggling to understand if they do dhulm against us, right? This companion, Ibn Abbas, asked him, hold on, we do this if they do dhulm, okay? And whereas this ayah is saying, forget dhulm, they call you to shirk, right? Which is the greatest of dhulm. إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. Alright, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Luqman as well, that in actual fact, the greatest dhulm ever is shirk. The greatest oppression ever is shirk. And this is a nice point. Now, because of dhulm, alright, okay, it's a word that has much connotation, it has a lot of difference in its meaning. But they said, some of the Arab scholars, that if you take something and you put it in a place where it's not meant to be, right? Like for example, you pick up a book and you put it in another level, this is also referred to as dhulm. If you look at this action of put something where it shouldn't be, then you understand what oppression is. You are doing something or you are treating someone not how they should be treated. Okay? Whether you are increasing their worth or you are decreasing their worth. If you're decreasing their worth and you're not giving them their right, then you oppress them. But if they also deserve only a low right and you give them a very high one, then this is another form of oppression because you're putting that thing in major danger. And that's the essence of shirk, right? Because what is shirk? But you go and you give the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether in His uluhiyya or in His ubudiyya or rububiyyah, i.e. His right to be worshipped, or His majesty, His lordship, okay? His right to be the king of all kings, His right to be the one who is